Hey there, you might be wondering if avoidant exes can ever come back to you. And the truth is, they really can. Let me tell you what that process looks like in this video through a case study of someone I worked with in the past. This might help you understand what you can expect and what it might look like for you. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life. Now, a couple days ago, I was going through some old videos of some clients who had, saved their relationship. And I wanted to tell you this story because it really stuck out to me and it really left a sort of imprint in my mind and I guess in my heart as well too. But there was a woman that I was working with, a few years ago named Farina, who was living in Paris at the time. Her ex had broken up with her and he had actually moved to a small town some distance away from Paris. He was living far away and they managed to stay in contact with each other through this period. And he was very emotionally shut down. He kept telling her, Farina, we're never getting back together. We're not getting back together. You should give up. You shouldn't ask me these types of questions. You shouldn't go there. You shouldn't try to connect with me in this way. You should back off. You should start dating someone else. He would often tell her this whenever she started to get too close emotionally. This might sound really familiar to you if you do have an avoidant ex, right? Maybe you've gotten messages like this before from them, them really trying to protect that space that they have, them really trying to protect their own personal boundaries and maintain that freedom and maintain that sense of control that they have over their own lives because they don't want to be burdened down by feeling as if they're responsible for someone else. And, this persisted for a while until one day, this avoidant ex actually ended up in a rebound relationship with someone else. This, of course, was very difficult for Farina. She had a lot of very challenging times, and we worked with her to kind of persist through this and to maintain that contact through all of this. And it got to the point where I think it was her ex had to come back to Paris to take care of some sort of business that he couldn't do in his small little village that he was living in. We got to the point where the two of them were able to get together and spend some time together. They were able to go to a restaurant or something like that. And they actually started to connect. We worked with her to keep that connection focused rather than relationship focused. Again, it's important to not go right for the jugular there and say, hey, can we get back together? Hey, what have you thought about us getting back together? Hey, have you reconsidered the breakup or anything? Because that, to someone who has an avoidant sort of personality, is going to be too much, too fast, and they're not going to want to do it. The two of them were able to just start to have a good connection. And of course, like when these sorts of things happen, he pulled back afterwards because he probably did sense that there was some sort of romantic intent there. We weren't overt about it, but he, of course, is going to sense that when that is there, and that's going to cause him to think, hey, where is this going? Am I ready for a relationship? Better put some distance. And that's why people like this can be so difficult, because they often have this very thick armor around themselves. And the thing is, though, is that once you're able to get through that armor, things start to happen very quickly. And so you just have to kind of persist through those initial stages of really just getting through that thick armor, getting through that thick defense barrier that they often have around themselves. Because once you get through to that other side, that's when things really start to fall into place, as you will quickly discover here in this story. But before we get any further, if you do like this video that we're sharing today, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button for YouTube and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any future things that we upload on this channel as well too. Farina and her ex still stayed in contact through all of this. Shortly after, he did still, appreciate the connection that they had. They were talking still. They never actually did no contact, by the way. So, goes against the grain of a lot of advice you might hear elsewhere on the internet. Just want to float that one out there for you. They did stay in contact through all of this, and he did end up breaking up with the rebound. He had to come back to Paris for another reason, and then things started to happen really quickly. I remember it was sort of like in between coaching calls, and she started sending me these frantic messages. Hey, Clay, everything's falling apart. What do? I need to talk to you as soon as possible, blah, blah, blah. And then something was obviously not unfolding. So when we had our next call, I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Tell me all about it. And she said, we're actually back together. What? Again, once you get through that armor, things start to happen very quickly. What happened was he realized that he couldn't really move on and let go of her, because she was still having this emotional effect on him Farina didn't know this because he was not necessarily emotionally responsive, and he was oftentimes actually very discouraging against her, but he did still appreciate the connection. In fact, he told her when they got back together, I had to get back together with you because we never drifted apart. You never gave us a chance to drift apart, and I love that about you. You were able to persist through this. And then, she went on to say that, he said, hey, what do you think about, maybe the end of the year, you change your last name? And so, he then started to pursue her. He started to pursue the relationship. He started to pursue even, opening things up towards marriage. And this is why it's important to persist through that armor, to persist through that shell, because oftentimes it hides a very sensitive person on the inside, someone who is willing to go all in once they actually have that connection and once they actually make up their mind. As the result of this story, they're in a great relationship. I'm not sure if they've gotten married. I haven't gotten that update. I know they have a child together now, which is kind of mind-blowing. Hey, if they'd never gotten back together, that would be a human being that didn't exist, right? You can definitely get back together with an avoidant ex. You just have to understand kind of what sort of emotional process they need to go through and what you can sort of expect on the journey. But this is all really about the emotional connection, not mind games, not no contact, not handwritten letters or anything like that. This is about the emotional connection. And if that is something you do want to learn more about, we'd love to help you out in our course called the X Solution Program over at modernlove.life/ESP. There's also a link for it down below in the description box. Check it out. If it seems like it's a good fit for you, we'd love to have you inside. It contains basically all of the same advice that I gave to Farina. Of course, it's not coaching, so I'm not going to be able to coach you, but it has all of the advice that I gave her. And so it definitely can help you if you find yourself in a place where you have an avoidant ex that you do want to reconcile with. Anyway, I hope that helps you out. And if you do want to get more of these videos, please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and hit that notification bell. You can do that right up there. Anyway, with that being said, take care, and I'll talk to you next time.